is black. I want my baby back.
After the blackout, local news would be pretty boring for my family until the end of 1965. Antonio, why is your wife gaining so much weight?
Bus stop where day she's there, I say, please share my umbrella.
The biggest story in New York City in 1966 may have been the transit strike, which began promptly on January the 1st and lasted for 12 days. This did not affect either Alejandro or Antonio, who were already driving to get to their jobs in Manhattan. Nor did it affect David, who had already bought the car of his dreams, a yellow 1966 Ford Falcon that David wanted since he first saw it in a 1961 magazine ad in Tangier. He paid $4,500 for it. Antonio, why did Mercedes have to go to the gynecologist 2 times last week? Antonio, why won't you answer me? What's wrong? The miniskirt became the rage, and women everywhere began to show their legs. Suddenly, leg care products began to pop up everywhere, even on TV.
I simply sprayed away all my unwanted hair. I did it with neat spray.
Antonio, your wife just threw up. What did you give her for breakfast? Hello? Earth calling Antonio. Hello? Of 1966, that was a disaster. That month was one of the worst months ever in our family's history. Even to this day, I don't know that we'll ever get over it. It was a nightmare. It was just an absolute nightmare. And the whole family was almost ruined by what took place that month. Alejandro and Alessandra's relationship was heating up. Alejandro would disappear on weekends and would spend most of his time over at the Eastman household. Here is Alessandra's mother Elida holding Giselle. In this picture, she was just days old. She had been born the previous year, on October 29, 1965, and was the daughter of Marisa Eastman and her husband Fernando Mejia. Oh yeah, here's a picture of Alejandro. I knew that she was, nobody knew. I mean, we all thought she was just overweight. We just thought she was fat. We just thought she was eating a lot of food. She was stressed out or having a fight with Antonio. Nobody knew. In television that year, NBC went where no network has gone before by airing Star Trek, a campy TV series that dealt with a captain and his crew aboard a spaceship with a quest for the unknown. The show was also a platform to deal with issues that were hip for that time. Star Trek, for example, was the first television series ever to show an interracial kiss. Its weekend time slot drew expectably poor ratings and fell short of its 5-year mission, but became one of the most successfully syndicated shows of all time and has so far spun off 11 movies. I was afraid for my life, I have to say. I mean, I know I was only 1, but I was definitely afraid for my life. My father was afraid for his life. My mother was afraid for her life. My grandmother, who had just come from Spain, she was afraid of her life. Everybody, and we were petrified. We didn't know what was going to happen next. I don't want to say abortion would have been the solution. I mean, it was illegal, so we couldn't do that. But it was pretty scary. It really was. I was afraid. I was petrified. Oh, in fact, just thinking about it just gives me chills. I don't even want to go there anymore.
Hey there, Georgie girl, swinging down the street so fancy. Under my thumb, the girl.
I think it all really came to a head when, we brought our grandmother to the hospital, Boulevard Hospital. What a joke. Especially after they found out what they had performed there with our family. The hospital was shut down, was condemned the following week. Go look it up. Go look it up in the books. This was, I believe he was born in November. They shut that hospital down in December because that should not have taken place at a hospital. Maybe at like a Centers for Disease in Atlanta or something like that, where it would have been in a controlled environment, in an isolation tank, far away from the human population. So I mean, I think all the lawsuits that ensued to Boulevard Hospital, they just couldn't continue, and they had to close shop. But I mean, that day, we already knew there was something wrong and weird in the air, because when we brought my grandmother to the hospital, there were guards, there were policemen everywhere. I mean, even in the delivery room, there were 2 or 3 doctors. There was a foot doctor. There was also a veterinarian, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what she was giving birth to. So there was a veterinarian there, and a foot doctor, and I think an ear, nose, and throat specialist. But that was for my father. Actually, it was a nose, and throat specialist. I'm sorry. But anyway, I mean, it was very scary. But the bottom line was there were like 6 or 7 cops, officers, packing guns. But we just did not know what was going to happen when she gave birth. And that was the scary moment. The scary moment that I hope I never have to relive again.
The young and affluent feed the credit card boom. Enjoy now, pay later.
You keep saying you got something for me, something you call love, but confess.
The U.S. begins dropping napalm and Agent Orange to destroy hard-to-reach enemy hideouts. 10,000 Americans and 50,000 Vietnamese were already dead. It was costing the United States close to $3 billion per month to fight the war.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots.
Months earlier, everyone began to notice that Mercedes was gaining a lot of weight.
You know, most women, when they carry around, she wasn't. She was carrying like a torpedo. It was like this protrusion.
She wasn't feeling too well, both by her added weight as well as the comments that she drew. But it would all become trivial when, after visiting a gynecologist, it was determined that she was not gaining weight because of food, but because she was pregnant. And if being pregnant at an older age is dangerous today, even with all of the modern medicines and technology, just imagine what my grandmother had to go through at the age of 46 and in the year 1966. However, the 9 months of pregnancy would be nothing compared to the end result. And so, a year after New York City had suffered during the Great Blackout, it would again be plunged into darkness.
I honestly didn't like the idea. And I think it was a mistake.
Give them health of mind and body, that they may do your will with perfect love.
Boomba, boomba!
Until Joe Jim all the time.